Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Happy Saturday. If you are new here, if you're watching this on replay, let me introduce myself. My name is Jules. My pronouns are he, him. I am a commercial food photographer and stylist and soon to be published cookbook author. And the thing that we do here every single Saturday is we sit down and we chat while we plan our week, or we journal, or you can do art, whatever you feel like for the next hour and a half. If you are watching, then yeah, please say hi in chat. Let me know what you're up to today. Let me know how your week was, if you did anything interesting, what you're watching, whatever you want to share. This week I am planning my first week of July. It's my first week back from holiday. My 2 week every quarter I take the last 2 weeks off. And so I have a lot to do this week, and including sharing some news that surprised me. This thing happened on Thursday. So we're going to talk about that as well as I plan. So I need to find specific color yeah, let's talk about my priority for the week. Let me just get the color for that. I should have two priorities actually. One is catch up on administrative stuff from being away for 2 weeks. Hello, Anomic. How? I'm waving like funny. Anyways, hello. How are you? How was your week last week? I know you were away. Anything interesting to let me know or to report while I try and as I try and catch my thoughts here before I lay a bit of a surprise on everyone. And it may not, I don't know, it's a surprise to me. There's this whole story here. So let me just get my color for the priority for this week is the color that I use for writing. Anomic is good. Planning a vacation and the week today. Awesome. So, yeah, my priority this week is to write. And I think what I want to do actually is, this is the one that's good. I need to switch out the ink from the 0.7 blue to the, what point is this? It's black. Ultrafine 0.38. I think I'm wanting to go back to my gel pens only because this is a little bit scratchy. I still like this. This is the 0.25. This is a 0.38. Yep. I need something smoother. My hands are getting a little crampy. So my priority for this week is to write. Priority, and the thing that I am writing is a novel. It's a YA contemporary YA novel, and it's something that I have been noodling in my head for, I don't know, 2 years actually. I do know, because I have a note on my phone from when I wrote out like 3 or 4 sentences that set the tone for what I want to write. And then I don't even know how it came about, but on Thursday, all of a sudden, the whole entire first chapter was just written and there in my head, and I vomited it. I info dumped it I info dumped it into a doc. Like, within a couple hours, it was out of me. It still, even though it's all there, it still took a while to write. And Then on Friday, and I just left it. I'm like, okay, I have a chapter. This isn't going to be going anywhere. And then on Friday, I sat down on, and I'm not supposed to even be like thinking about anything working, but it was there, and I had to write it down. Then on Friday, I'm looking for what the pen that I just had. Here it is. Then on Friday, I sat down and I wrote a 6-page outline and character avatars for everybody in the book. And the fact that I was able to... Anomic is also saying that they are working on a novel, but a romance. Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, so... And I am a plotter, die hard plotter, and I have lots of nonfiction in me. One of the things about being autistic is I am a collector of facts, and once I have an interest of something, I learn everything there is to know about it in very, very short order, and I like to share those facts. So I have a billion nonfiction books in me. I've had this fiction book kind of floating around there, but fiction is a little bit more difficult for me because of the way my brain works. I can't really make stuff up out of nothing. And my very first... Okay, so here's the story. Here's the story. When I was in grade 5, we had to do a writing assignment. A fiction writing assignment, write a novel, write a book, and we bound them and everything. I cannot just make up names. So I wrote a really interesting, to me, my grade 5 mind, a really interesting science fiction murder mystery story. I was into science fiction. It was kind of based on the Starship Enterprise, and this is before TNG was on the air, so it would be the original Enterprise. A ship kind of like that. I even drew it out. It was a murder mystery. There was robots involved. All this other stuff. But because I can't think of names, all the characters were named after my classmates. And apparently, I did not know at the time. I mean, these were the only names I knew at the time, being autistic. I only had those names in front of me. Those are the only people I've ever really been exposed to. And apparently you're not allowed to kill off your classmates in a story. Nobody told me that. Nobody said that it would cause panic. My parents got a very panicked phone call from my teacher, making sure everything's okay, because I am killing my classmates off in a book. I was not killing them off. They just happened to share their names. And so because I cannot make up names, because I cannot just pull stuff out of nothing, I kind of got dissuaded, pushed away from writing fiction. I think I'm an okay writer. I mean, I just, people, I don't know. I don't know. People read what I write. They say they like it. Anyways, so yeah, on Friday, though, I wrote out every single chapter, title. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I was so upset. I did not understand, because I did the assignment and I don't understand why it was really upsetting. I'm like, those, just because they share names with my classmates doesn't mean they're my classmates. I was so confused. I mean, they were not clear enough with their instructions, obviously. Nobody told me I was not allowed to do that. I was following the rules as I understood them. And it's like, well, I don't understand. I don't understand the rules. Because they're never clear. I mean, and they have to be clear with me. That's just the way that my brain works. So, yeah. Anyways, on Friday, yesterday, gosh, the 1st, Canada Day, when I should be relaxing and just enjoying the last day of my holiday, I instead wrote the outline. I have all the chapters titled. I have all the major things that have to happen in each chapter laid out, and yeah, so I am going to be the way, and this will be interesting, Anomic. I mean, and I might need your help again keeping my OCD in check because it's all there. I just have to info dump it now. Like, it is seriously 100% written. I mean, minus like little fiddly things, like the big. I just have to weave it together, fill in the movements, stuff like that. So the plan is, this is the plan, and we may have to change this as we go. If my OCD again, Anomic is a panther with an outline. a panther. I'm assuming that the panther, yes, a panther with an outline. Yeah. So that's a planter. And planters. I'm always amazed of pantsers and planters, where like my outlines are not thoroughly written. It's really thorough in my head, and I just write down the salient points just to make sure I don't forget to include specific things where they need to go. But yeah, I am on 100% a planner. But yeah, so the plan is that I will, again, write in the mornings and then work on photography or whatever in the afternoons, or maybe just like they take the day off, and it all depends on other like works that comes, if it comes up, that kind of thing, and the hope is that because YA is between 50 and 75,000 words, and I can do that, like I could write I have been known to write 10,000 words in a day. So if I let my OCD go and get the better of me, I could write this whole book in a week. I will not be sleeping, I will not be eating, I'll be very crabby, and it is my 9-year wedding anniversary on Wednesday. It may cause a divorce. Who knows? So the thing is, and because it's all in my head, and that's all I've been able to think about for the last, since Thursday, basically, it's been consuming every single thought that I have. I have to get up my schedule here, because I know I have appointments on these days, and I have to make sure I am not overlapping with my lunch. So, pain clinic, that appointment is 1:20. 3 o'clock. Okay, so yeah, the trick is going to be, because it is done, to actually stop when it is time to stop and not continue to write into the afternoon. Though, like, I could, if I wanted to be really mean to myself and not respect my energy, I could, like, block my whole, since everybody is away on holiday right now, I could block off my whole entire July and just dump these words, because I could, if, like, on a really good morning, if I'm having a good morning, I could very easily get 10,000 words out. So, who knows? But then there may be days where I wake up and I'm lucky to be able to pull 200 words out, even though they're there. Getting them out is a completely different kettle of fish altogether. So that is going to be the fun thing. So let's see, Friday. This is Friday. Monday. I'm on Monday. So Monday, I have a pain. So I have an appointment, not this coming week, but the week after, with my pain doctor, where we're going to talk about doing a spinal block of the pain that is, like, I have a spinal cord tumor that is displacing my sciatic nerves, and it's a lot of pain. And we're hoping that we can do a nerve block so that I have no longer, because the tumor is such that even though it's not, like, they can't remove it without possibly severing my spinal cord or my sciatic nerve, because of how it's involved. But before that, I have to take, like, an orientation of all the services the pain clinic offers, and that's happening on Monday, and that's a long thing. Anomic is saying that they have a goal of a certain word count per day to meet their deadline, and they do stick, but they do stick to it. They try not to make the word count overly ambitious. Yeah. So my goal, so there's 27 chapters in my book, and each chapter is somewhere between 2,000 to 3,000 words. Some of them are going to be less. Like the first chapter, it's done, and it's about 1,500 words. And I'm keeping them purposely short because I want it to be accessible to reluctant readers as well. So I'm structuring it in such a way that reluctant readers will be able to not get overwhelmed by chapter lengths when they pick it up. So shorter chapters, more chapters, very contained. Like, each chapter is very specific and a self-contained story that weaves into the larger story, or a self-contained event. And basically, every single chapter is one day in the life of this person and the thing that happens to them. And you learn So that's how it's structured. And it happens in the last month of the hero's grade 11 year, and their best friend's grade 12 year. So it's like right at the edge of YA into they're adults now, and they're having adult issues, and there's some would say it's an adult situation, but it is a teen situation. Like it's like right at the edge of the upper end of the age scale for YA. And so like and it's very precise, and because I know what's going to happen in every single chapter, it's just a matter of getting it down. And so there are some days where, and for me it's stopping, right? So because I have it all done, I could very easily say it's Monday, spit out that second chapter on Monday, and the problem will be like, okay, well now I can easily move into the third chapter because I know what's happening. So it's going to be stopping. It's the same thing. Basically, that problem was stopping when there's like always, well, there's one more sentence, there's one more this, there's like that, having my OCD take over when it's done. Like it's now I just have to get it out. And so it's the stopping that's going to be a problem, and not have it consume my brain. Like last night we started finally watching this most recent season of Stranger Things, and because I now have this book that I need to get out of me, that surprise all of a sudden is done and finished and ready to come out. My partner last night is like, are you sure we're going to watch Stranger Things, or is your head going to be in the book? And I'm like, no, I will be able to do both. No worries about that. So, because one thing that happens is, pain clinic, hold on, orientation. A thing that happens, orientation, is just I get lost in my thoughts, and I get stuck, and I have, it's obsessive thoughts is what it is. And I just have a really hard time moving on. And a lot of times it causes frustration because we'll be watching something and I'll be like, oh my god, what happened? Because I just realized for the last 45 minutes I actually haven't been watching, but I've been stuck in my thoughts. Yes, so Amnomic is asking if I'm finding Stranger Things weird due to the ages. Yeah. So we only were able to watch the first episode of this most recent season. Like, we waited until the whole season was dropped. And hold on, I have water. I'm going to be it's hot. Summer's finally arrived here. And even though my desk is right above the air vent, this is a Camel water bottle, Camelback. And I recommend this water bottle to everybody. I mean, like, it doesn't spill. And you can drink it laying down, whatever, because it's like done with suction, or it could be not done with suction. Anyways, I have to take a sip because it's hot, even being on the air conditioning. So yeah, we watched the first episode, and I'm just like, there's no way these kids are in grade 9. And that's, yeah, because they're not in grade 9 in real life. They're much older. And I feel like they should have skipped ahead and put them in grade 11 or something for the season. And have it be 1988 instead of 1986. We've only watched the first episode. But yes, those are my initial... That is my initial takeaway is they are too old. And it is weird. Very weird. And then on Tuesday, so yeah, I have my plane clinic orientation on Monday. Tuesday, I need work appointment color. Biz meetings, GG1. Tuesday, I am recording a podcast, 3 hours long, yes. So I am going to be recording as a guest on a podcast on Tuesday. That's not going to come out until May of next year. That's how far ahead they're booking, to talk about my book. It's really weird to already be doing, like, recording interviews and promotion for my book that doesn't come out until next spring. So that's happening then. And that is, like, going to be 3 hours long, and they up to 3 hours long. These podcasts are long. So this is break. And Shape of a Star podcast. And I need to put, how do I do that? I don't have, it is I gotta double check this, and do not think anything bad of me, but we always have to double check when our anniversary is. And yes, it is the 6th. Tomorrow is our cat hero. She's the youngest out of our 4 animals, and she's turning 4 tomorrow, which is weird. Okay, so I have to put wedding anniversary here. Wedding, this is what happens when I'm trying to change habits. Let me switch pens. Using this one again. Wedding anniversary. And so I'm making dog food today. So I'm just going to put this here in pencil for a minute. D. And which puts dog food on this day. Okay. So, do I have any other appointments this week yet? No, because my calendar is closed for the week. Oh, that's not where I'm looking. So, I need to put in some other things. So yeah, started watching Stranger Things. Oh, the book. So, I have to shop on this day. So yeah, I'm hoping, so the way it's going to go, I'm going to dedicate the mornings that if I don't have any other meetings, or if somebody hasn't booked a photo session, which I doubt. Another reason why, okay, yeah, let's back up here. Sorry. Another reason why I'm dedicating July to this is because, or to the book, is now it's in the design process of my book, and I'm not back on my publisher schedule until September when first round of proofreading happens. Normally July is when everybody is away for holiday and vacation with their families, and so even so I'm not going to have much photography work in July. And also, people are still recovering, like, from the late growing season, and we're still, like, there's another wave of COVID happening, and all that stuff. And so, I know July is going to be a slow month for work, and so July, I can relatively guarantee is that I can try my best to do a chapter a day, and get it done, get it down, get it out, and, And Anomic is saying that they're so excited, they just found out that they might be able to fast track their exodus. Yes! That is very exciting. Very, very exciting. So yeah, July I know is going to be slow. And the way that I'm planning my days with putting a priority to writing in the morning is, I'm hoping, anyways, that it's going to work out as such that if somebody all of a sudden decides that they need to meet with me to plan a shoot or whatever, there's still room to do that. And I can, like, I have it so that when people are self-booking appointments with me on my booking calendar on my website, that they have, like, the upcoming week is always closed, and they have to have at least, like, a week's notice. So I can always easily plan, okay, this week I know I'll be able to dedicate to writing, and know what else is coming up. So there's a lot of things I have to do this week as well. Before today, and hopefully it will come up, I filmed the July flip. Okay, I'm going to show you this now, Anomic, because they're here, because I might be able to get time to finally set up. So this is the days before you break into it. And this is the days after I'm done with it. So I did the July flip. Isn't that... I'm so glad that I got, like, something that is in 2 days instead of trying to use, like, a 1-year Hobonichi cousin. I know there's the avec. The avec wouldn't work for me anyways, but yeah. So, and I still have to film the 6-month flip, but now that I've done, I have a comparison shot of these two things, I can now break into this and start setting this up and be able to point people to the July flip and say, if you want to see, like, how skinny this started out with, watch my July flip, because there it is. But so things else I have to, so I'm hoping to film my 6-month film 6-month flip, and I'm hoping to also film my Q2 review this week as well, because I know I do not have any client work this week. Yeah, I like seeing the chunky boy too. It's so satisfying to me. I don't know why. But yeah, seeing this chunky boy, it is just very satisfying. It is well used. It is well loved. A thing that I still have to do, and it may be kind of cheating, but because the novel decided to pop in my head, end of March. So at the end of March, I left myself a letter at the end of the first quarter, just wrapping up my thoughts for the quarter. And I still have to do that and stick it in for the end of Q2, and I could just stick it here or something. And the reason why I forgot to do it is because I had to do the tip-in for a recipe that I'm developing. But, and I have some, I'm going to give you just a little, I did something new. I did some doodling. It's not the greatest. I am not an artiste in that way. But, yeah, this is just so, I'm so happy with this. And you can't even, it won't even stay shut. I mean, this is, you can balance it, but it will not, it's chunky. It's well loved. It's well used. Very satisfied. So I'm hoping to be able to set this up today too, as we're talking. So because I know that I know I have no client work this week because people have to book at least a week in advance. I know I can, hopefully, my brain will allow me to move from writing in the morning to filming in the afternoon and editing, because they take a while, especially because I add the subtitles to them. They take a minute. And I also, what food days am I doing this week? I think I just have chocolate. I think. Food days. Oops. Sometimes I do that. Let me look at my calendar. Hanomic is asking, do you think I should use a Hobo Cousins for the Exodus plan, which will be around 18 months, or should I use 3 6-month planners? I would use the Hobo Cousin for the Exodus plan. I'm finding using the Hobo Cousin as like a catch-all project planner works really, really well. I'm going to be adding some new pages to this soon for keeping track of my word counts, daily word counts, like instead of doing it in a spreadsheet, because I like to be able to look at things. I'm also going to transfer some of the outline information here so I can be looking at my outline beside me down instead of having to flip between documents on my screen. I mean, it doesn't work that way, but you know what I mean. So I just find this really works well for as a project planner, and you can like keep days like for benchmarks, columns. I think it works best that way for that type of planning. There's more flexibility, I think, than and you don't have to worry about wasting pages. I think that's the thing when you break it up in 3 books. Could be a little bit hesitancy of, oh, what if I don't use it or fall out of it? What do I do then? When you have it all in one book, if you fall out of it, you can always easily turn the cousins into tracking another type of project, right? And it's still being true to, I'm shooting chocolate this week. Still being true to what you originally set it up for. And I'm saying they'll be used to track moving, selling items, rentals, and scouting trips. Yeah, I think the Hobonichi cousin is perfect for that. So, especially because you can use any day, like you can have, like, I don't know, January for tracking selling items. And so, here, I know you've seen this before, but let me give an example of how it could work for selling items. So when I was figuring out which recipes I was doing, right, I made a list and I numbered everything, and then so I had the running list of everything I had to develop and keep track of, and then in the bucket section, the weeks, I had just a numbers 1 to whatever, and then I checked off the box as I developed everything. And then this section is like a table of contents of where I can find specific things in the days. Having everything in one book would be easier to keep track of, like you said. Yeah, it's one of those things where if you don't use the whole book, you can always like put another project in it and just keep tracking of it, where things are in the book, and it works. And then you can also use it to like play with ideas and whatever as well. So I find it very, very beneficial to have like keeping track of different projects and stuff in here, and then anything that I need to like have deadlines or for, then I manage that in my Jibun Techo. So that's just how it works for me. So I know I have no more appointments for this week, so I can run the break all the way to here. What else do I have coming up this week? Seems, oh yeah, I have my write-in. Okay, I need to put, there we go. Yearly area. So are you using, yes, I am using the yearly area as an index, as a table of contents, just so I know where I can find things. So let me go back to that. Yeah, so like I had like cookbook. So I have the project title in this top section, and then the days are like the day of the week is like January 1st. This is where I can find notes that I need to or questions I need to ask my publisher. January 2nd is where I find my cookbook guide. January 3rd is my list of edits, and then there's an arrow all the way down. So it's basically a table of contents of which day of the month. This heading is, again, this is where my Nourish art exhibit, that's where that project started. How to Cook a Book is the course that I'm teaching, and so that's a new project that I just started that's going to have lists of resources and stuff that I need to gather for the people who are taking the course, and just running notes and brain dumps of things that I need to make sure are included in each lesson, and lesson outlines and sketches, and basically brainstorming how to cook a book is in April, and then May is going to be this new book. That's going to be a new project that I start on. And so, yeah, this is an index of everything that I can find in the daily section. And then the weeks I use as buckets, like you would use for on Trello. Is how I use so it's, yeah, just, and I have headers like priorities, my cookbook punch list, recipes that I needed to develop for the different appliances, my shot list of all the images I had to take. I still like to do design. There's nothing in this bucket yet because we're just now entering the design phase of the book. So that will be filled up. And then I have some extra buckets for priorities and punch lists for other things that are like, when we get to the proofreading, then I know there will be more punch lists of things I know that I'll have to accomplish as we get into the proofreading phase. And Anomic is like, okay, got it. That will definitely work. And like you said, they won't feel like they're wasting space, and they can just ignore the month day part and use it more broadly. Exactly. So yeah, I kind of, some people like to call it Frankenstein's the cousin, my dog. I Frankenstein the cousin to work as a project planner in a kind of turning Trello and Asana and Microsoft Planner. What that would look like in physical form is basically how I set up my cousin. So it's just figure out a planning system that works for your brain and make it fit into the format of the cousin. And I mean, I love the cousin. I wish the Jibun was a full A5 instead of an A5 Slim, because that extra page is nice. But I mean, I use the Gantt charts and everything in the Jibun, and I use, like, there's lots of extra space in the Jibun that's not in the Hobonichi. So that's why that's like the main reason why I don't use the Hobonichi as my day-to-day planner, is it doesn't have everything I need, but it does make for an absolutely amazing project planner, because it is flexible that way, and it does have, like, it has, unlike North American planners, it doesn't have the Saturday and Sunday combined in one day, which yeah, Saturdays and Sundays you need to have as full days, even if you don't work on the weekends, for lots of different reasons. So that's that. And we have breakfast. Oh my goodness. Back to having to put my continuing education and I can't even remember, continuing education and prep. Wow, this is like I go on holiday for 2 weeks and I completely forget, like, how my days are structured. So Monday I have co-op deadline. And I think what I'm gonna do right now, because I almost forgot a couple times over the holiday. Monday is the 4th of July. holiday for you all. We had our holiday on Friday. On my holiday, a couple times, I nearly forgot to do my shopping at the co-op, which would have been bad, because that's where we get our eggs to make the dog's dog food. To do. Top of list. Co-op. Shop. Namika saying, plus some people do work on those days, so that's what always bothered them. They used to have Monday and Tuesday off. Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons why weekends. It's also, it's very classist to assume that people have the Saturday and Sunday off. So put this back here, and then Wednesday, milk delivery. It has been so hot this past few weeks that our milk and our eggs, when they're being delivered, have been cooking, even in a cooler with ice. So we've been having to make sure that we are home when they get dropped off. Wedding anniversary. I need to decorate that now. I need something. I don't have anything that is happy anniversary per se. But I do have balloons or something. And if I don't decorate that now, I am going to forget. Not on purpose. It's just the way we are. Both my partner's ADHD, I'm autistic, and it's just one of those things where we do not, and we're both aromantic. So it's just one of those things where we don't really think about. So my desk is getting to be a mess. Let's put that back for now. Actually, I want to decorate my dogs. Put this buddy right here, and this buddy right here. Done. And what else do I have happening this week that I can put in? Oh, crud. This isn't wanting to get in here. Okay. Really sad thing. 33 Celsius there in Virginia. What is it here right now? Oh, I gotta stop doing that. Oh, that's not my pin. It is right now 30 at 137. Let me refresh this. This is my backyard. 30.4. So yeah, it's hot. We had up to 39 was our high during last week. I have to take more water. It's warm. It is warm. So yeah, we're about the same. I mean, there is a significant, unlike Fahrenheit, 1 degree Celsius is a big, huge change, but it's still similar enough. What's the humidity at? How sticky is it outside? Oh, gotta stop showing my past. No, that's not it. The humidity is 42%, which is sticky. It's muggy out there. So, it's not fun. Not fun at all. Go back to here. So I have my write-in on Wednesday still, and it's going to be really fun to let everybody know, oh, hey, I'm actually writing fiction. I wish another reason you're ready to leave because of the oh my goodness. So Virginia is so weird, maybe is the word I want to use. So yeah, my partner, when we met, lived in Nova, in Herndon, so in Fairfax County. And we'd spend alternating months going back and forth for the first little bit of our relationship. Ooh, 71% humidity. Yeah, so that is gross. And the thing there, I And there's a, like, 40% humidity is humid here. Like, there's water, like, there's a lake kind of, like, across the street behind us. So, if where we are is you kind of feel it more, because the lake is right there. So, we're getting the evaporation off of the lake. And I can't find the color I'm looking for. 0.5. Like, did I lose it somewhere? I had it. I was coloring it. But yeah, there it is. Going to Virginia in the summers and having that really, really, like, you walk outside and you're instantly wet because there's so much water in the air. And then the thunder and rain every single night for like half an hour and then gone. That's another weird thing, because we rarely have thunder or lightning where we are and where I am when it does happen. It is not fun because it ricochets in the valley, as I've discussed that before. But yeah, so that is the thing that my partner loved, actually. They thrive in like 28 humid temperature, and I'm just like, ew, gross, no thank you. Like, that's my temperature window is between 20 and 23, and anything outside 20 to 23 and I'm miserable. And I do not deal well at all with heat. My blood pressure gets low, I get dehydrated easily, I faint. I am not meant for heat. And it's not like it's because I grew up in cold tundra Canada. Where I live is relatively warm. I mean, we rarely get snow, I should say, and it rarely gets freezing. And the only time we get frost over the winter is the odd night that it doesn't rain. It's because it's raining all the time in the winter, right? It's warm-ish. Relatively speaking, it is warm. So, that is that whole thing, and I like it between 20 and 23, and 23 is pushing it for my upper end of what I can tolerate. Namik is saying, yes, they're partners from South Carolina, and summer they're using this like hot, sweaty, gross emoji. Unbearable to them. He wants to visit, but I always am waiting for September or October. Yeah, there's no way. You could not pay me enough to go to the Carolinas in the winter or summer. I mean, there's just no way that is going to be happening for me. I would die. I would faint. The only way I can do temperatures that are like in the 40s is if there's no humidity, and that is not the case. In the Carolinas, it is very humid and sticky and gross. So I got that. I got my exercise. So yeah, my Wednesday writing. It's gonna be fun to let them all know that I am working on a novel, and it's done, except for I need to like put words to paper. It's not called paper anymore. You know what I mean. Words in my Word document. Exercise. I feel like I am missing something. Oh, I am. This is my milk deadline. And I have to do my plan with me. What color is that? Anomik is asking if I have tried playing Stardew Valley. Everyone seems to love it and says it's relaxing, and they are attempting to try it out. So I did try it. The graphics are not for me. It's too pixelated, and the way I process information, like it triggers something in my processing part of my brain that makes me feel like physically uncomfortable. So, and I love farming games. I love resource management games. Like, on paper, Stardew Valley is a game for me, but graphically, I cannot do it. It causes pain in part of my brain that processes information. that said, CG020, I'm looking for a game that I am loving, that I would absolutely recommend if you are not playing it already. It's called Cozy Grove. It's on Nintendo Switch, and I think now there's a PC version. And Cozy Grove is similar to, like, it's in the same family as Animal Crossing and Stardew and whatever, except for the great thing about Cozy Grove is there is an actual stopping point to it every single day. The number of quests, I mean, you could spend all day if you wanted to fishing and waiting for resources to regrow and, like, overburdening yourself with, like, all the things you have to collect. But when it comes to the things you have to do for your villagers that you slowly discover during the day, there's like, you have a limited number of quests, and so it's like an hour of gameplay every single day and you're done, which is really good for somebody who, like me, who is not, if not careful, I will go 24 hours playing a game and forgetting to eat and go to the washroom and, you know, all those self-care things that do not happen when my OCD takes over. Anomic is saying, like, Minecraft bothers them graphically, too, but they're like, didn't we pass this 20 years ago? Yeah. And it's the same pixel, it's the same type of graphics, in Stardew Valley that's in Minecraft. So if you cannot do that, you will not be able to, because yeah, it is basically the same graphics. And I can play old Mario because there's something like janky, like it's stabby to the graphics in Stardew Valley and Minecraft, where those things are smoothed out in, like, Mario, old school Mario. So there's like a jumpy like, it's like quality to it that I cannot do. But yeah. So yeah, check out Cozy Grove. Cozy Grove is a really, and when you come, like, if you don't play it for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, it does, the villagers do not shame you like they do in Animal Crossing. They don't even, like, they have no concept that you've been gone for a billion days if you, for whatever reason, can't play it for a week. It's just very, it's that perfect balance of having something to do and having to fulfill tasks with clear starts and stops, and no shame if you don't pick it up for a few days. So, I enjoy it. I enjoy it quite a bit. And I got to find what's my body. You would think, after using these colors, when did I switch to these pens? Let's go back in time here. So, what month is this? February. So I've been using these pens since, so March, April, May, June. 4 months. You would think I would have the colors memorized that I use for each thing. Nope. I don't. I still have to look at my legend. GG020. Where are you? GG020 right there. Down here. I'm gonna figure out what we're gonna be. Oh, also cannot wait. I mean, it may seem bad to say, but I'm looking very forward to being done with Strange New Worlds, so we can, not Strange New Worlds, sorry, Stranger Things. I'm sad Strange New Worlds is going to be its last week this week, but I'm glad to be, I can't wait to get through Stranger Worlds so we can watch the second season of Only Murders in the Building, because that is so good. CG030. CG030. So, but we are very sad. Okay, so I don't care if you are not a Star Trek fan. If you have never watched Star Trek before and you are interested in maybe trying it out, I highly recommend that you start with Strange New Worlds. It is amazing. Captain Pike is now hands down my most favorite captain. And I'm not going to go into details because I believe spoilers are forever. But this past week episode of Strange New Worlds had me hollering in all types of ways. Hollering out of excitement because of just how great a scene played out. And then feeling tension in my body in a way that I have not felt while watching a show in a really long time. It was, without spoilers, it was like watching Jurassic Park meets Aliens meets some really good, like, just that tension that, like, you don't want to watch, but you, like, being terrified, but in a good way. Like, not so terrified you're going to nope out. Just the perfect amount of being terrified and being very, very uncomfortable and tension. I mean, tension is the word I would use. So Anomik hasn't heard of Only Murders in the Building. Okay, so Only Murders on the Building is on Disney Plus. Yes, Disney Plus. And it stars Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena Gomez. And they live in a building. The premise is they live in a building, a murder happens, and they start a podcast trying to solve the murder. And hijinks ensue. And you would think, because comedy, like certain comedians, they outlive their, just you stop being so sensitive. You know what I'm talking about. Those guys. Martin Short and Steve Martin are just as funny as ever. Seeing them together is just really, really nice. And Selena Gomez adds a nice, young, hip, new generation. And it's just this perfect blend of grandparent meets grandkid working. And it's hilarious. It is a comedy of errors, is probably the best way to explain it. And highly recommend. It kind of feels the same type of space, even though it's not as heartwarming. But it still is in that same space, at least for me, as Ted Lasso. So if you're looking for something that is, like, heartfelt, but also, like, has really good comedic beats that punch up and not punching down, then, yeah, it's all about punching up. Like, the comedy is 100% punching up. It's never making fun of people. It's never punching down. It's never at the expense of somebody else. Except for maybe some self-deprecating humor, which is what us in Canada and Britain that's our humor. It is really, really fun. So yeah, it's all self-deprecating humor and mostly humor at the expense of the three characters who are making this podcast and trying to solve this murder. Yeah. I need to color in that square. Where did I put that? Is it 030? I just had it in my hand. Yep. So yeah. I'm looking forward to getting through to that. I'm hoping a new season of Ted Lasso. Is it Lasso or Lasso? I mean, it is spelt Lasso because double consonants means a short vowel. But I'll hear a lot of people say lasso, which is not how it's spelled. So I don't know. But here we don't have that. That finished. So you think you can dance. So you think you can dance. And the last episode of Strange New Worlds. Oh, not looking forward to that at all. And Stranger Things. Don't know what I'm going to be watching this part of the evening yet. Because, yeah, I'm in between shows. I think I might, like, watch some Great Courses stuff. Just because I Stranger Things, and I have to see how many episodes we have left to figure out when we're going to be being able to move on to Only Murders in the Building. Here we go. What else? So Anomic's saying they also say a short A sound for lasso. Yeah. I mean, that's how it's spelled. That's how we're supposed to say it. I need to go to the episodes and information. How many episodes do we have? Oh, they're all long. So it might actually... Yeah, we're going to be well into the end of the week with this. I'm gonna fill into Friday with Stranger Things and leave the weekend open for the possibility of moving on to Only Murders in the Building. Another thing that I watched this past week, that I talked about in my flip, but I haven't talked about here, is if you haven't watched The Girl from Plainville, it is a thing I would recommend watching because, so normally I'm going to preface with, I normally do not watch true crime because true crime is normally exploits the victims and the victims' families and is all like sensational and rah-rah. The Girl from Plainville has the family of the victims' full support. They got to approve it before it went out to the world. The person who is, I mean, it's not the hero, but they're the subject of, they are the girl from Plainville. That family declined to comment, so I'm guessing they did not like the fact that she was relatively played accurately. And the reason why I watched it is because this case actually set precedent in the state of Massachusetts for what constitutes manslaughter, and this crime is the impetus of a new law that is currently hoping, like they're being petitioned to pass legislation in Massachusetts. And just because of the significance of this event, I watched The Girl from Plainville. And that is on, I think it's on Stack TV in Canada. So I believe it's Hulu in the US, but it also, because it is Hulu and Amazon, or Disney owns Hulu, it may also be on Disney Plus. I don't know. I just know that Hulu produced it in the US, and then it's on Stack TV in Canada. So that is the basics of that blocked in. So let's move on. I know I've done this. Oh yeah, I have. So let's move on to finally moving into, at least I'm moving on to finally moving into my second half of this. I still cannot believe how beautiful and chunky this is. I really cannot wait to do the flip and just like find little treasures in here that I forget. Or look at the spine. I haven't even had a chance to do that yet. Like, isn't that amazing? This is another thing that I love about the Jibun Techo, and it's the same with the Hobonichi and the what's it called? Stylogy, is the flat-laying spines allow for the spines to like turn in on itself and not get ruined. Anyways, I just really like that. Put this in the cover. Number 1. Gotta take these out to set up my tabs. So this. And, this can go in here. Oh, this cover is also like so much looser than it was. It's just amazing how it changes. This is... Oh, come on. Get in here. I am really not precious with my covers, especially since this is about to, I mean, in another 6 months, it doesn't even want to close anymore because the plastic is like, the plastic cover has been conditioned to be in a chunky, so it's like, I'm not going to stay closed. That's funny. Okay, so let's start off with, do I have anything in my table of contents here, like articles or videos I wrote down that I wanted to shoot that I need to transfer over? Yes, I still have to shoot my unhaul video. So let's start there with the list of videos to film. Yep, I absolutely did not have a chance to do the unhaul video because I was busy listening to and reading and just catching up on shows, and then I was actually relaxing during my holiday. And it's not that, and just the unhaul video is some work. Is there anything else I need to transfer? No. So now let's move on to monthly sticker. Anomic is asking, when your partner moved there, was there anything he wishes he did to prep or would have done differently? No. I think the biggest thing, because he still works for his American company, so there was nothing like job-wise that has to be done because he works remotely, and he was very lucky that way that he gets to keep his American job, and it's just easier, especially for taxes, because being an American citizen, he has to pay American taxes forever, unless he becomes a Canadian citizen and renounces his American citizenship. So, none of that stuff has changed. So he's still, like, taxes is still the same. The things that he hates is that he still has to pay for American healthcare because of the whole, you have to, like, by law have healthcare now, or pay that penalty, or however how it works. It doesn't make sense to me because our healthcare system is, like, a million times different. So, I mean, there's those things. We pay a lot of money in U.S. taxes and pay for healthcare that we can't use. So, I think the biggest thing, though, and he's lived here now since 2014. We got married in 2013. He moved here 2014. So 8 years. There's still some culture things 8 years later that he is still adjusting to. That he still has a hard time wrapping his head around, and it's really weird because we have a lot of shared culture, but it's just enough different to kind of make you feel like you're in the Twilight Zone sometimes. So I think the biggest thing would be, and he's doing it now more. When he first moved here, he was really, really reluctant to watch Canadian-made programming, because if you want to learn the differences between America and Canada in a really, really fun way, you watch shows like Murdoch Mysteries, or watch Canadian news on the CBC, like the National. You can stream it on the CBC Gem app. because there is a real huge difference between even like how we learn about news and how news is reported. And just a lot of CBC shows, I think. Like, just immerse yourself in CBC Gem and CBC shows. And I think that that would have caused him less shock, I think. But then there's other things like our $1 and $2 are coins, and there's talk of having our $5 as coins, and he's still 8 years in, and this is part because money is rarely used in Canada, like actual physical currency. And so the odd time that we use actual physical currency, he still doesn't know the difference between a $1 coin and a $2 coin, despite the fact that they are vastly different. He still has trouble sometimes figuring out exactly like what our gas prices mean, because our gas is per the liter instead of per the gallon. But then he gets jokes. Like, there was one of our favorite TikTokers. They are a queer couple that live in Vancouver, but they recently did like a trip to the United States, and they chronicled it on a YouTube videos. And one of them made a joke that the vehicle that they rented gets 3.8 liters to the gallon, because that's how many liters are in a gallon. And it was just really funny. But there's, so it's those little things. Oh, this is a funny thing too. So all of our labels on groceries, like things you buy in the store, have both English and French. And you have to get used to that. And his ADHD sometimes causes him not to be able to find things in the store, because sometimes when they're stocking the shelves, the French label gets put on the front instead of the English label. And I'm going to tell a story that I still find hilarious to this day, and he wishes I didn't tell. And it is that I needed him to go get lemonade one day, and he went to the store, and he's texting me in a panic and saying all I can find is limeade, and or limonade or something like that. And what he was reading, and that was he was texting the French word for lemonade. And I'm like, that is lemonade. You're looking at the French label. So yeah, there's things like that. Basically learning those differences between our cultures, between labels, between how, like, in Canada, you do not barter when you're buying a vehicle. The sticker price is the sticker price. You do not go to an antique store. Like, we don't have bartering culture. So you don't go to a secondhand place and try and talk someone down from their price. The price is the price, and you pay the sticker price. And it's not like in America where vehicles are purposely priced higher to haggle. Our prices, like when we bought our vehicle, like they actually gave us discounts and stuff, and like dealerships aren't looking to scam you. And I'm saying they know the metric system will be a hump to get used to. Yes. So, like, they had to, and it took them because they immersed themselves in it, right? So even learning what Fahrenheit to Celsius is and getting used to how the weather is told here, getting used to buying things in liters and stuff instead of in quarts and pints and gallons. And so it's those little things that every now and then, and especially when it comes to watching the news, seeing how politicians and politics works in general still sometimes throws them off. Like, this cannot be real. Like, and it makes them get more angry about stuff that is happening south to the border. I mean, it's truly stressful, the fact that our marriage may be made illegal again down there. That's stressful. it's stressful that we probably will not be able to safely travel. It's just not safe for me to travel to the United States to see his mom. And having her understand that, no, we cannot go down there right now. So, he's constantly, I think I screwed this up. Nope, I didn't. He's constantly, sometimes, like, little things will come up every now and then that make him mourn an America that he thought he knew. I mean, because he grew up pretty white privileged. His dad was a U.S. representative. And very, very, like, left compared to the Democrats. Like, even then, he was radical. But he's still, like, it's still taken him a while to learn that even, like, his dad, who's radical according to U.S. standards, is not at all radical when it comes to Canadian standards. A big thing that used to cause arguments between us was, like, when Hillary Clinton was running for president, I was very, very upset that everybody was labeling her as, like, some centrist or leftist, because by Canadian standards and by actually, like, poli-sci, like, textbook, both her and Biden are center-right. Their policies, and, like, especially monetarily, are what are our conservative governments do in Canada. And that's another thing that kind of, and I'm not saying don't get them started on the foolishness of the Supreme Court right now. Yeah. And that's the kind of thing that would never happen in Canada, at least for the Supreme Court. Like, we're always in Canada one election away from a right-wing fascist government. That's the way it works in a parliamentary system. We are not immune to that. But when it comes to our Supreme Court, is very not political. And so that is one, and we've had conservative prime ministers try to make the Supreme Court conservative and political, but the way our constitutional law works, it's just, so far, has not been possible to make a political Supreme Court. Because, yeah, the judicial system, and so it's stuff like that would cause tension. He used to things like, why are you ragging on America so much? Why do you hate America so much? You know, like, there's just so much propaganda in America to be like America's the best country in the world, that it took him a while to, they're left. Biden and Clinton are right of center by Canadian standards. And, like, it took him, like, there is no center left anymore in America. As, like, there are still people in the party, like AOC, who are left of center. I mean, but even, like, what's this pickle? The old dude who sat grumpily in the chair and became a meme. Sanders. Bernie Sanders would be center in Canada. Sure, he has some left policies, but when it comes to a lot of other things, he is to the right. Especially with his stance on gun control. And so he would belong in the center as far as, like, textbook, what it means, and as far as Canadian politics. Nomic is saying they've been working on the Supreme Court there for 50 years to get it where it is today. Yeah. And the thing with, because we don't elect we don't vote directly for a president, prime minister would be the equivalent, just because of, there's just certain differences, and we've had conservative governments a lot over the last 50 years. Liberals, like Justin Trudeau, is firmly in the center, and by American standards, people think he is some beacon of the left. But he isn't. Like, Trudeau is firmly centrist, and he does really crappy centrist things, and he is horrible. Like, he says all the right things when it comes to making things... I have to take a sip of water, hold on. He says the right things when it comes to the rights of marginalized people, but the money's not there to make sure that marginalized people are actually getting the help that they need. So it's all words with no action, and that is centrist, right? He says the right things to placate the left, but then he makes monetarily decisions to make the right happy, and plays that game of trying to make everybody happy, which puts you in the center. It doesn't matter. You can say all the right words, but unless you're actually doing things to make change, then you're not. I mean, they're just words. Yeah, see, that's another thing. We don't have lifetime appointments in Canada. We have mandatory retirement. None of this. I'm going to retire when I feel like it. Stuff. So it is very difficult, and just the way precedent works in Canada. It's there's just enough. It's just different enough where while I worry about a really, really bad right wing, like, because there is the really, really right, because normally the Conservative Party of Canada is center left or center right. I mean, sorry. But there is a really bad, like, cozy up to fascist faction that's trying to take over the Conservative Party of Canada. And there's a long history there. And it could very well happen. And it's a genuine fear. And, but even with them in power, like, they will do a lot of damage. They will make laws that will hurt marginalized people. But they will, like, I'm absolutely guaranteed that they will all be struck down by the Supreme Court. Like, our last time we had a conservative government, he was really, like, tough on crime, and that government instituted a bunch of laws where, for the first time, we had mandatory minimums, and all mandatory minimums have been struck down because it's cruel and unusual punishment, and we have a system of what's it called? Like, we believe people can be rehabilitated. So it's rehabilitation and not punitive. And people have to have the chance to prove that they can change. Like, that is the foundation, and it's in our Constitution, and all that other stuff. And our Constitution is only, it was like 1982. And we're constantly changing our Constitution. So it's not like our Constitution isn't like some sacred document. It's a living, breathing document that gets changed and amended and updated all the time, and our Constitution is like a series of documents instead of like one thing. So it makes it it's different in so far as we can't say that, well, this was not a right when the Founding Fathers made the Constitution. Like, the Founding Fathers are still alive in Canada, is how it works. And I'm not saying the reason to just keep piling up it's different, and it's important to know those differences, because, I mean, you would think, like, on the surface, we are very, very similar. I mean, even the English and our like Canadianisms and Americanisms and all that, like, there's just enough differences in the culture that you will have, that there is culture shock. And so immersing yourself in Canadian television and CBC News and stuff like that before coming to Canada is the thing that he probably would have done more of, instead of waiting till he was in Canada for a few years before, like, immersing himself in Canadian culture. So, yeah. And he's still learning stuff. I mean, that's just the way it is. So it's always a journey, but it's fun. And Canada has a lot of really amazing programming and stuff like that. And it's really highly, highly underrated. And it's always fun to me when a CBC show eventually makes it to Netflix, and American audiences catch up on it, like Kim's Convenience or Schitt's Creek. I know a lot of American friends who also have recently discovered Murdoch Mysteries. And I'm like, yeah, we have some really good television. And it's one of those, it's full of lots of self-deprecating humor, and you really get to learn about Canadian stereotypes that we love and we embrace and all that other stuff. And I'm saying they will add watching shows of the areas we're thinking about watch the media, immerse yourself in the media, the news, the television shows, pop culture in general. Read books by read Canadian books as an example. Canadian CanLit is very, very different, and CanLit is all based in Canadian towns and Canadian experiences. So it would be CanLit or UK Lit or whatever. It like immerse yourself also in the literature. Yeah, Murdoch. Yeah, Murdoch Mysteries is hilarious. I love when they do things like invent Twitter or invent Facebook or whatever. Murdoch is fun. Words for this month. So yeah, it's that would be my major suggestion. I have. Is there anything else? I mean, I'm assuming you would be moving to. Well, yeah, even learn their particular English. Yeah. And learn that bartering is I mean bartering is a very American thing and not something that oh god, this reminds me of a good example of if you want to be respectful of the country you're going to, there's this thing that American tourists do when they go to another country that is like a developing. I'm gonna use Egypt here. There was like this whole talk on a travel forum with white American tourists saying, be sure when you go to Egypt that you're not paying the American price, meaning haggle down, because people who live there pay less for these things, and what they're wanting to haggle is, for instance, having to pay $1, literally $1 for the full price when locals would only be paying 30 cents for it. So make sure you haggle them down. And I'm like, you have how many thousands of dollars to be flying from America to Egypt, and you are insulted to pay an American price of $1 for your cheap-ass knick-knack, and be exploiting the local labor. Pay the $1. Don't go there haggling. I mean, that's the that's part of what has created the rude American tourist stereotype, is that type of stuff where, like, just pay the $1. Like, what is $1 to you when you just spent thousands of dollars traveling to a country that is not yours, and that is in the financial state it is because of years of imperialism and colonialism. And that is my rant about that. Sorry, people watching this on... Actually, I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I believe in social equity and believe in paying people what they say they're worth. Another thing I need to do this week. I just remembered. I need to start on the marketing copy. That's not the right one. Start on the marketing copy for the course that I'm going to be teaching. The self-righteousness of it all, Anamika is saying. Yes. That's a good way to course marketing copy. I'll start this copy because I have the deadline for that next week. Yeah, so it's just a bizarre thing. Like, when I believe that if you're going to go to another country, whether you're moving there or be a tourist, you should like immerse yourself in that culture and live according, like, be one, like, follow their rules. Don't bring your rules and impose your rules. Go there to be part of that culture, to immerse yourself in it, to appreciate it and to respect it. Otherwise, what is the point of going? I don't understand. Like, so you can say that you stood beside the pyramids? I mean, I don't understand that. I want to go to learn and, like, to actually experience things in an authentic way. Oh, I am almost done with 4 months of no spends. Doing a no spend for July as well. in August, end of August, I learn if I get a Canada Art Council grant for the time I had to take off to work on my book. What should my month be, or my word be for July? I have only a minute left here. I don't know. My word for this month. That's what have I, the word, I've had relax. I've had flow, renewal, breathe, perseverance, and flow. I guess I have flow twice. Anomic saying I agree. So my word for this month, I think, is going to be, I don't know. I think I need to think about that more, and that's fine. So that is time for this week. I'm going to wrap this up before my battery dies. Thanks for everybody who watched, popped in. Anomic, as always, thanks for joining live in chat. People watching this on replay, thanks for watching it on replay. I will have, hopefully, I know for sure I will have one video out this week, and that is the July flip, but I'm hoping to also do my quarterly review and the whole 6-month flip of this chunky boy. And other than that, I will see you all next Saturday for another live plan with me. Manomic saying it was good to chat with me again, and they will see me next time. So yeah, until next Saturday, for sure, when we do this again, stay safe, everybody. Wear a mask, wash your hands, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe. Have a good week. Next Monday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. British Daylight Time. Bye.